The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The news.
B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us? Cause we're steady on the ground.
Hello, and welcome to the Wrestling Landscape Podcast. I am your host, Lance Larson, and this is the Casual Wrestling Podcast, the informal wrestling podcast. Today I am drinking coffee, because it's about 11 a.m. here in Lincoln, Nebraska. So, no alcohol at this time of day. Actually, there's not really any alcohol for me in the apartment. So, coffee it is. And kind of almost room temperature coffee. I brewed this pot of French press and then I stepped away to do a few things. So, when it came back to it, it's not as hot as it once was, which is how science works. Okay, on this episode of Wrestling Landscape, it is Tokyo Dreamin. That means we're talking all Japanese wrestling. And today is an exclusively G1 Climax episode. During the G1, I would honestly expect maybe 2 Tokyo Dreamins a week. Or maybe like 3 every 2 weeks or something like that. With probably at least 1 a week being all G1. And maybe another one covering not G1 stuff, but we'll see how that works out. If I do no more Tokyo Dreamings this month, it's my podcast. I can do what I want. You don't like it, go start your own, listen to something else in the B+. Anyway, tonight, talking G1 Climax 21, Night 2. Did I say 21? G1 Climax 29, Night 2, from July the 13th. We are just talking tournament matches. With all of the wrestling happening in the world, I do not have time to watch the prelims. I'm sure they're good. I'm sure they're fine. Not making time for it in this climate. Especially this weekend. Like, I'm sitting here on Monday, July 15th, and like everything that's happened this weekend with, obviously starting off with the CMLL's weekly Friday night show. CNL from Chile had their weekly Saturday night show. We also had AEW Fight for the Fallen, Evolve 131, 3 nights of G1 Climax in a row. DDT Peter Pan was this morning, my time, which I still haven't watched. I don't know if I will watch it. On top of that, you had all the weekly episodes of MLW, Ring of Honor, and Impact, which I have not watched. I do not know if/when I will have time to watch that. This was a fucking crazy weekend for wrestling. And if you're a UFC fan, there was a UFC 2. So, this was, like, Jesus. I don't know anyone that's all caught up. I'm sure someone is. I'm sure someone had a very free weekend and is simply just all caught up with everything. I am not. We will see if I do. I just might not watch that Peter Pan show. I just might not watch that Evolve show. There's no way to say. Those are 2 companies I've never covered before. So those would just kind of be bonuses. I'd like to start covering DDT. Evolve, unless it was on the network, I don't think I would start covering it, because it's not... I already have the network for NXT, so if it's there, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to pay extra money to watch Evolve, because it just doesn't entice me enough to pay extra money for it. So, that's where I'm at with that. We'll see. But anyway, G1 Climax. I keep pushing back the review of these matches. In the first tournament match of the night, on night 2, we had Juice Robinson defeating Shingo Takagi, which was a very good match. Very hard-hitting. The crowd really got into it. Like, this peaked really, really well in the third act. The crowd was here for it. And it really set the tone for the rest of the night. Because night 2 really felt like, I don't know, a special night is going too far, but it felt every bit as good as night 1 in Dallas. And so, like, after night 2, I remember thinking, like, God damn, this is going to be an amazing tournament. And nights 3 and 4 happened, and they were good, but they didn't feel like nights 1 and 2. But anyway, awesome match. Built exceptionally. Shingo can hang with heavyweights. in kayfabe. Like, obviously we know he's a talented wrestler, so of course in the ring he can hang with them. But we're talking kayfabe. He can hang with heavyweights. He put on a hell of a match with Juice. He ended up losing, but he hung well. Next, we had Jon Moxley defeating Taichi, which was awesome. I fucking loved this match. This was less than 10 minutes, I think. I remember the 5-minute call being called out over the microphone. I do not remember the 10-minute call coming. So this was either like just under 10 minutes, or I missed it, and it was just over 10 minutes. But this was not a long match, especially by G1 standards, which made it all the better. It was all brawling. Moxley enters through the crowd, Taichi attacks him, and it just goes from there. Moxley Uranagi's Taichi through a table like a mofo. That was a kick-ass spot. I fucking loved that. This is what I want out of Moxley. Like, this is awesome. I'm here for this Moxley in the G1. Because it's so different from what a lot of the other guys are doing in the G1. This is a change of pace. This is a breath of fresh air. Yano does the same thing. I am more okay with Yano matches this year in the G1 than I ever have been. Totally here for these change of paces. Mox gets the win. First 2 points in the G1. Next, we had Toru Yano defeating Tetsuya Naito, which, on one level, kind of makes me wish I had done a preview episode so that I'd sound smart. Because going into this match, I thought Yano was going to win, and he did. Obviously, saying that after the fact, there's no way I can prove that that was my opinion beforehand, before the match started. But I guess you can take my word for it if you want, which is a foolish thing to do. But it makes total sense. New Japan loves having slow starts for some of their top guys, as we will see evidenced on night 4 when we get there. Yano can pin anyone, and it doesn't really hurt him, because it's like he uses tricks, he uses cheating and deception, and just kind of catches you out of nowhere. So it doesn't hurt Naito that he lost to Yano. Like, everyone can lose to Yano. He only beats 2 or 3 guys in the tournament, but everyone has a chance to lose to Yano. Even the champion, because Kenny Omega lost to him last year. So, made total sense to me. And this furthered my belief that Naito will win the G1, and Night 4 solidified that belief. We'll talk about that when we get there, but yeah, made total sense to me. Was not surprised by this. And a fun match. I enjoyed the shenanigans. In the semi-main, we had Tomohiro Ishii defeating Jeff Cobb. As Kevin Kelly said, this was a heavyweight slugfest. This was awesome. I don't think I've seen a single person that didn't like this match. I'm sure there's someone out there that didn't like this match. There always is. Which is one of the fun things about art. But, lots of forearms, chops, lariats, suplexes, exactly what you want out of these two blokes. I say blokes. I'm an American. We don't say blokes here. I'm sorry. Tomohiro Ishii is absolutely unreal. He may be one of the best wrestlers to never win a heavyweight championship. Like, this guy's awesome. He can produce main event quality matches all the fucking time. Now, I'm not saying he should be heavyweight champion, because I don't think he should. I do think he should challenge here and there. He doesn't really have enough credibility to think that he'll actually win because of where he's been positioned. But the matches are so good it doesn't matter. I know he had a title shot against Omega last year, which was fun. So I like that. If he can get, like, I don't know, 3 title shots over the course of 2 years, maybe that's the right pace for him. Or maybe that's too little. I don't know. But he shouldn't be a big 4 in New Japan. Like, yes, he's might be one of the best 4 or 5 workers, but he shouldn't be a big 4. Because that's just not where his character or his star power is. So while he's unreal in the ring, he is a stark reminder that while there is a lot of crossover, there is a difference between one of the top 5 or top 10 workers in the world and one of the top 5, top 10 stars in the world in terms of pro wrestling. So, unreal worker, just below that star power. And who knows, like, Gato's a genius. Maybe, now I think Ishii's kind of aged out of this spot, but you never know. If Gato wants to heat him up, make him a star, make him that top guy where you believe he might win the heavyweight title, I'm sure he can. I don't know how you'd book that. Because I feel like just getting solid wins over the top guys maybe wouldn't be enough. There'd have to be something else there. But Ishii is Absolutely one of the top 5 best workers in New Japan. Absolutely one of the top 10 best workers in the world, at least from the wrestling I've seen, which is always important to keep in mind. But he should not be a Big 4 or Big 5 in New Japan. However, they're categorizing that now, because I don't know if they see Ibushi as in that elite category. Because it's right now it's Okada, Naito, Jay White, and Tanahashi. Like that's like the Big 4 in New Japan right now. I don't know if they see Ibushi up there. I don't know if he rounds it out to a Big 5. And to be completely honest, I don't know if Tanahashi's up there anymore either. Like, they might, once he passed the title on to Jay White, that might have been like his official, I'm no longer a top guy kind of drop, you know? So I don't know if it's a Big 3. I don't know if it's a Big 4. I don't know if it's a Big 5. I know Naito, Okada, and Jay White they view as top people. But Tanahashi and Ibushi, I don't know. So I guess I don't really know how Gato is viewing the top of his card right now. But, honestly, I'm sure that'll manifest itself over the next 2 years. And we'll have a very solid idea. Because Ibushi's not a young guy. He's almost 40. I know he looks like he's 23, but he's almost 40. But he still does have a lot of fresh matchups, because he was only part-time with New Japan. You know, he wasn't under contract up until, what is that, a couple months ago now? So, we'll see. In the main event, yeah, Ishikawa was awesome, by the way. That's what got me started on all that tangents. It was awesome. Please, please, please check it out if you haven't seen it. The main event, we had Hiroki Goto defeating Jay White. Again, real good. But honestly, probably, in my opinion, the 4th best match of the night. Just better than Naito Yano. So, I liked Ishikawa better than it. I liked Mox Taichi better than it. That's right, come at me. And I liked Robinson Takagi better than it. So still very good. Like, it wasn't a disappointment. But I think there's 3 matches better than it on the same night. Tons of counters. Jay White playing up that whole counter gimmick he does. And Goto was able to overcome it all and avenge his loss to Jay White earlier in the year. I think night 4 solidified that Goto is still just going to be just a guy in this tournament. But we'll talk about that when we get there. G1 Climax, Night 3, July the 14th. A-block matches. We had Lance Archer defeating Bad Luck Fale. This was better than you would expect, hearing those 2 names. I was pleasantly surprised. Thankfully, it didn't go too long. I still would have cut a few minutes off of what they did. Like, this should have been a 6-minute match. I don't think it went too much longer. I think it might have gone 10. But like 6 should have been like the ceiling for this match. It's almost like they should have been told like, okay guys, go have a 5-minute match. If you go a minute over, oh well. But they didn't go too long. It was better than you expect. I think they were smart about it, thankfully. And Lance Archer got the win with the claw. Putting that claw over big time. Which, on one level, like, I'm totally fine with. I'm so willing to suspend my disbelief with pro wrestling. But on another level, it's so fucking dumb because it's the claw. I know it's dumb, but for some reason it doesn't bother me as much as it should. Like, I know it should bother me, so it always crosses my mind, but it never actually does. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But Lance Archer's 2-0 in the G1. Brothers got 4 points. We had Will Ospreay defeating Sonata in the second tournament match of the night. Very, very good. Awesome blend of high-flying strikes and power. Will Ospreay is a god when it comes to in-ring wrestling. Absolutely out of this world, unreal talent. Smooth as fuck. Both of these guys were. This was an excellently worked match. Very, very smooth. And they peaked well, they hit the climax, and they went home. Really, really enjoyed this match. Like I said, Ospreay got the win. He is at 2 points. Sonata is also at 2 points. How far will Ospreay go in the G1 Climax? An important question. He won't win it. I am pretty damn sure of that. But I think he will do well. I think if he gets 6 points or less, I will be very, very surprised. I think he will get 8, 9, or 10. And I'm going to take a bold prediction here. Maybe it's not that bold. I guess I haven't seen a lot of other people's pick'ems. I think Will Ospreay is going to beat Okada. Which, as noted by others, I believe the Voices of Wrestling flagship guys, would be the first time a junior heavyweight champion has defeated a heavyweight champion in New Japan. I think that's going to happen because I think that's going to fucking make Ospreay. And I think they're going to go with it. And better yet, when that happens, it gives Okada a challenger for the heavyweight title at Royal Quest in London on August the 31st. So that is my prediction.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This month we are sponsored by Grapple, a fantastic new wrestling app available on iOS and Google Play completely for free, where you can rate all the matches that you watch in WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all across the world, and we are even getting Australian wrestling involved in the Grapple app rating system as well, starting with PWA Pro Wrestling Australia. Their Green Label event from the other week is up there. The Black Label event, All Eyes on Troy, is up there. And the last 2 years of events, at least, are up on Grapple right now for you to rate so that people can get around our Aussie wrestling and see that we are just as good as anywhere else in the world. Basically, Grapple is a Rotten Tomatoes for wrestling. Now we all get a say. It is the democratization of match rating systems for pro wrestling. It's amazing. So I get a say, you get a say. You can follow me on there at Greg Unchained. You can follow Big Boy Mikey at B+_Big Boy. At Mr. Mysterious is on there. At Danders is on there. At Jay is on there. We're all on there rating the matches that we watch. So follow us. We'll follow you back. Let's build this community and get as many Australian wrestling fans onto the Grapple app as we can. You can download it right now. It has over 30,000 matches on there going back to 1985, 15 promotions around the world. There's so much to do on the Grapple app. It's a great little community, so get around it. It's Grapple, GRAPPL.co, and it's for free on App Store and Google Play. Get around it. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Ospreay is at 2 points now. I think he will end with 8, 9, or 10. And I think 2 of those 8, 9, or 10 points will be a victory over Kazuchika Okada. Gives you a hell of a main event for Royal Quest. And Okada can avenge his loss. To me, that makes sense. But we'll see. We'll see. What do I know? And think about what that does to the junior heavyweight title. Think about what that does to Ospreay. I think there's a lot of elevation that can happen from one job. And honestly, Ospreay can barely escape with the victory. Like, he can go through an all-out war and pin him at 29-59 in the match. Like, Okada can still be very, very protected in this. It's not going to hurt Okada. Okada's fine. He's the champ. He's going to avenge his loss. He'll be fine. I think a lot of good can be done from Ospreay beating Okada. I think that's going to happen. I really, really do. Speaking of Okada, we had him defeating Zack Sabre Jr. here. I thought this was very good. I enjoyed it. I know I saw a couple tweets that thought it was fine. Nothing special. I thought it was very good. Zack sold his neck again later in the match. Because Okada did go after the neck a little bit. But, like, I feel like that happens in a lot of Zack matches. I don't know if that's because a lot of New Japan guys go after the neck. Like, Naito goes after the neck to set up the Destino. Okada goes after the neck to set up the Rainmaker. So I don't know if it just, like, happens more often in New Japan, or if Zack just goes to that selling too much. Because, we get someone in the octopus, and he's, like, wiggling his fingers around, like, oh, pins and needles. Which I thought was awesome the first time I saw it. And now I'm just like, okay, can we move on? Be a little more creative with that. So, still very good match. Very smooth, very creative, very dramatic towards the end because of all the near falls Zack was getting, because of all the subs he was laying on, and Okada had to fight to get to the ropes. So it did get me towards the end with some of the drama. Kevin explicitly brought up that Zack Sabre Jr. probably would not get a chance at Okada's heavyweight title now at Royal Quest because of this, like Zack had promised to do in his promo. And so that puts in your mind even more that if a Brit were to beat Okada, they would probably get a title shot at Royal Quest. Guys, Ospreay's going to beat Okada. Pretty confident of that. And if he doesn't, I will come on here and absolutely deny any statement to the contrary. I will not say that, oh yeah, told ya. No. I would lie through my teeth and say, oh, I never predicted that. Just kidding. Whether that happens or doesn't happen, I will either take a victory lap or admit defeat and call myself an idiot. But Ospreay is hurt. He missed the prelims on today's show. They're hoping he can come back on the 18th. So I guess we'll find out. Because if he's hurt and has to miss a few matches, some things might change. So I guess as long as he doesn't have to miss a match, that's I'm going to stick with my prediction. Okay. Semi-main. On night 3, we had Evil defeating Kota Ibushi. Very good. I think it peaked perfectly in the third act. The crowd wasn't terribly into it until just before the go-home stretch, like the sequence or two before the go-home sequence. So, again, good, not great. I know Ibushi was working with a bum ankle, and Evil went after the bum ankle, which is fine. Made for a psychologically sound match. I think I would have preferred Ibushi to sell it maybe a little more, but it was fine. So I say fine. This was still a very good match. I think just sometimes, especially in Ibushi matches in the G1, I just have a certain expectation. That's probably too high. So that one's on me. But Evil gets the win. Evil is at 2 points. Ibushi is at 0 points. He lost to Kenta on the first night, lost to Evil here. So interesting start for Kota Ibushi. Again, a top guy starting 0-2, as New Japan tends to do with some of their top guys. Not Okada. Okada's the champ. Okada's the ace. Okada's 2-0. This isn't last year when he's dealing with his breakdown after losing the belt. Okada's back. He's the Rainmaker. He's the ace. He's 2-0. The other top guys are not doing so hot. Jay White, Tanahashi, Ibushi, Naito. Interesting contrast. Because in the main event, we had Kenta defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi. So Hiroshi Tanahashi also starts 0-2, like Ibushi, like Naito, like Jay White. We'll talk about those last two in a second. But Kenta Tanahashi was a very good match. Tanahashi is so smooth and the best in the world at laying out a match because everything just feels so fucking natural. Tanahashi is so fucking good. Like, this guy's getting older. There's always reports that he's injured as fuck, and he's always putting on matches like this, where he does so little, but gets so much fucking out of it. God damn, this guy is brilliant. Tanahashi might be the smartest professional wrestler when it comes to putting together an in-ring product in the last 15 years. Name me someone in the last 15 years that's smarter at putting together matches than Tanahashi, who gets so fucking much out of so fucking little. This guy's a goddamn genius. Fucking Tanahashi. I love this guy. Blended the styles perfectly. Lots of counters worked together excellently. Kenta doing all his kicks. Tanahashi also, obviously having those millions of variants of dragon screw leg whips to counter the kicks. Everything just worked beautifully. I am a fan of Kenta, much more than Hideo Itami, if I can put it that way. But he's maybe like the 6th or 7th person I'm most excited about in New Japan. Like, to be honest, like, I like him, I'm glad he's there, but he's not putting on these all-star performances. I don't know if he's saving stuff. I don't know if this just is his best and where he's at now because of his age and he was 5 years away. I don't know if he's rusty on this style and he might just need a month to get back to peak Kenta. But I am slightly underwhelmed at Kenta, and honestly I think that's my fault for having unrealistic expectations. So, because he is doing very, very good. Both his matches he had were 4 stars, I think. This one I might go 4.25. I'd have to watch it again. But so he's having very good performances. But I think in my head I was just like expecting 4.5, 4.75 every night of the G1, which is dumb of me. So that's on me. But we'll see where the rest of the tournament goes. We'll keep an eye on that. We come to the G1 Climax 29 Night 4, which just took place this morning, my time. Yeah, it really ended about, like 5 hours ago? Yeah, maybe less. Anyway. Again, just doing the tournament matches. We had Shingo Takagi defeating Toru Yano, giving Shingo his first G1 win of the year. Hopefully not his last, but his first at least. Defeating Yano, again, it was a very Yano match. It wasn't too long. It was fun. It got Takagi 2 points. Did its job. Awesome. Moving on. Next, we had Juice Robinson defeating Hiroki Goto. I was about to say match of the night, but it is not. Ishii's match was the match of the night. We'll get to that. This was very good. It built well. But it was just an above average New Japan match. Really, really solid. Nothing too, it was very good. Go out of your way to see it, but there's nothing to be like, oh fuck, you have to see this match. So, very good. And not every match in the G1 has to be. And maybe I need to temper my expectations on this, because they are having very good matches. Nights 3 and 4 I thought were very, very good, top to bottom. But nothing stood out as oh, this is the G1, So, I didn't get that feeling. Still very good. Just not that peak G1 feeling you want. And this was exemplary of that. Next, we had Jon Moxley defeating Jeff Cobb. Jon Moxley 2-0 in the G1 Climax. Good match, good psychology, with Cobb going after, other way around, with Mox going after Cobb's arm, and Mox being unable to lift Cobb up for the Death Rider. So instead, when he's on the apron, he pulls him through the middle rope and hits a draping Death Rider, because Cobb was too big for Mox to hit it on him. So, the finish totally made sense, but the match itself was a little bland. Like, they tried to do some brawling. Not tried to, they did do some brawling. And it was fine, it was good, but just nothing special. It kind of felt a little flat. So I'm curious to see Mox going forward in this tournament, if he's going to be more like that Taichi match, or if it's going to be more like this Cobb match. Because that Taichi match was awesome. This Cobb match was solid. Big difference there. But still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed this match. If it sounds like I'm down on these matches, I promise you I'm not. I really like them. I honestly just think I had unrealistic expectations for these matches, because I hold the G1 in such high esteem. Anyway, we get to the match of the night, which was Tomohiro Ishii defeating Jay White. Ishii having a match of the night. Big shocker. Very well worked, as you can expect. Excellent third act. It peaked beautifully. Climaxed beautifully. Lots of counters, again, from Jay White. Some more creative than others, but he's playing up that counter gimmick. Ishii defeats him with a teardrop suplex. Jay White is 0-2 in the G1 Climax. He's a top guy. They definitely see him as a top guy. Starts out 0-2 with the rest of the top guys. I think that's so interesting to keep an eye on. And I think it's really important to be mindful of that going 1 in G1 Climaxes. Gato does this a lot. He books top guys to slow starts. He likes surprises the first few nights. White, Naito, Ibushi, Tanahashi, all 0-2. And Okada's 2-0. There's a story there. Probably won't get the payoff of that story to the last 2 nights, or last 3 nights, rather. But there's a story there. I'm really curious to what it is. I don't know if Okada's going to have a drop-off. I don't know. But I'm intrigued. I do think that's something to keep your eye on. That the most pushed guys in the company are all starting out 0-2, except for the ace, the champ, the Rainmaker, Okada. How great is Ishii, by the way? Absolutely unfucking real. Anyway, moving on. We already had my gush over Ishii on this episode. We had Taichi defeating Tetsuya Naito. Which, personally, I was a little surprised at, but I shouldn't have been, based on my own logic from the previous night. I just thought that was going to be a one-night thing, though. I was like, okay, he had his loss. Gonna come back now. No, he ate 2 losses to start the tournament. This convinced me more than ever that Tetsuya Naito is winning the G1 Climax. Because one, there's a lot of reasons why it could be his year. They didn't give it to him at Wrestle Kingdom last year. The window is closing to capitalize on his peak popularity, because he has not been terribly pushed in the last year and a half. Ever since he lost that Wrestle Kingdom main event, he's been a top guy, obviously, but there's always been 3 or 4 guys certainly higher than him on the card. They don't do this now. They might have missed the window to pull the trigger on him. A lot of angry Naito fans if they don't pull the trigger on him. So I definitely think that's his time. He's a huge draw. Him and Okada main eventing the Tokyo Dome would be a huge draw on this holiday weekend in Japan coming up, January 4th and 5th. They need a big draw. They have 2 domes to fill. Naito finally getting that win over Okada would do it. And he starts out 0-2 to begin the comeback story. I don't think Naito's losing again for the rest of this tournament. I think he's going to go 7-2 and win the block with 14 points. I think he's going to win every single match. I don't even think he's going to draw. I think he's going to win the rest of his matches. And win the B block. So this match itself was good. Not particularly special, but good. Naito overcame a lot of interference, but obviously not all of it, because eventually Taichi got the upper hand, threw shenanigans, and got the win. Where the hell was LIJ in this? Like, why didn't LIJ come out and help? He's getting, ganged up on by 3 different fucking Suzuki-gun folks. No LIJ. Bushi came out earlier in the night to fucking help Shingo. Where was Bushi helping Naito? What the fuck? Are they teasing something there? Because, Evil and Sonata are having a one-on-one match coming up. They've kind of teased Evil having some grumpiness with LIJ. Was this part of that story? Is there an LIJ implosion coming up? I could be reading too much into this. But I'm just curious as to where LIJ was. But yeah, decent match, nothing special. So nights 1 and 2, I really thought were excellent. Go out of your way to see the shows. Fantastic, fantastic nights. 3 and 4, very good. Not something that'll be remembered 3 months from now. That's kind of how I view it. Still very, very good. Definitely worth your time. Still the best wrestling going on the planet right now. At least as best as I can measure. Like I always like to say, it's very important to keep in mind that there's lots of wrestling you're not watching. And so I need to keep that in mind for myself. There's lots of wrestling I'm not watching. But of the wrestling that I do watch, I still think New Japan, at least this month, this week, is putting out the best wrestling. So, good on them. This was a review of the G1 Climax 21, nights 2 through 4. I will hopefully have a Lucha episode out for you soon, and we'll go from there. And whether I do the Evolve show or DDT show, or whatever the fuck, I'll get to what I get to, and you can deal with it. This is my podcast. It's casual. Damn, that coffee got ice cold. Anyway, this has been the Wrestling Landscape Podcast. so much for listening.